eventually we'll be there.
Right.
Are we live on your end? We're live on my
Let me
end.
see. Am I? Oh, yes. Let's see.
Mm.
Testing. Are we live?
Indeed.
Right.
For the real Slim Shady, please stand up.
Right. Oh, what is it? So there's this little cartoon that I saw on a while ago that I saw on, I guess, like Instagram / TikTok or whatever the F, right? Because everyone is just
Right.
cross posting. And then it's like, and then Nicholas had reposted it the other day, and now I've had this thing stuck in my head the entire time, and it's a little cartoon that starts off like this. It's like, me name is Captain Bitters, and me sails the royal flea, sailing dogs from where they live to where they like to be. Me sails them to volcanoes, me sails them to the zoo, and then me sails them home again before their suppers due.
What the fuck?
And then it's a whole thing. It's a whole like limerick thing. It's like super cute. I put it on my Facebook page.
You're killing me, Lage. You're killing me.
It's from an animator named Mummy Joe, and it's just like, if there was anything that could be, I guess, like the inheritor of the Homestar Runner.
Bro,
Mummy Joe.
Homestar Runner. Did you see that they're trying to bring it back?
Well, I know that they've had.
Guess who they want to voice him?
Oh, Chris Evans.
Fucking Pratt.
Oh, Chris Pratt.
Fucking Pratt. Like, for fuck's sake, does every fucking voice
they have to be Chris fucking Pratt?
Anyway, good morning, everyone. It is June, right? 21st, 2024. And this is the Raging to the Vlog. Yeah.
It's gonna be it's that kind of morning.
We
right?
got an action-packed adventure series for you today.
Oh no. We're taking you to volcanoes. We're taking you to the zoo.
Oh my god, are you ready for this?
Absolutely not, but hit it.
Trigger warning, fuck you.
Yo, good morning, Lage.
Good morning, Nita. Hold on. I'm just putting our the links to some links in the chat that I completely forgot. I keep forgetting to put these links in the chat. I don't know if they make a difference whether people like click there or not.
They click from everywhere. I could see that, especially when we use like the Bitleys or the tiny URLs, a trackable link.
Right. It's like, wow, Facebook is really cracking down on those Bitly links, aren't they?
I don't even know if it's Facebook or something Bitly's doing that's getting them flagged as spam, but it really pissed me off because in the middle of 2 campaigns, I had to fucking pay to switch over to tiny URL because every fucking Bitly link I was posting was getting flagged.
Right.
And it was always spam. And I'm like, what the shit? And even in my own groups, it was like, no matter what. So, and then people that would share my link would DM me and be like, hey, it's kicking back your links for whatever reason. And I'm like, what the hell?
Right. Yeah. Cause I know that David Doobie was having the same problem and I ended up with the same problem. Yeah. Where it's like it would say, oh, we're flagging your post for spam. I mean, it did it on one group. So I kind of wondered if it was just the one group. But I noticed that once I changed the link to go direct to Kickstarter as opposed to stopping at BackerKit, doing that BackerKit jump, then I stopped having problems. So... Oh, and yes, and good morning, Michael. And yes, and who else is in the chat today?
us.
I forget.
Us and Michael.
Oh,
Michael,
there we go. Okay, so there you go. All right. And yeah,
nobody's tuning in because we put God in the title. They're like, oh, these bitches are so religious.
Right, no.
We're religious.
And like our eyeball people are still waking up. They got the giant eyeball and they're just like rubbing the crust out of their giant eyeball, so they're just waking up. So I guess the notifications are taking its time to go out again, right?
Apparently so.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, right? Look, it's a hot, sweaty Friday. Yeah, I know. It's a hot Friday. It's like it's gross. I even have like the air conditioner on, but like my office is like built like a goddamn greenhouse. So it's like there's literally like a 10-degree difference between the front of the house and this office. So it's like I just kind of got it like comfortable ish. At least the birds don't look like they're melting. The birds are usually more sensitive about it than I think I just try to tolerate it more. But like the birds are like, they were all like this. It's like, oh, it's too hot. It's like, okay, fine, I'll put the AC on. But yeah, so it's obviously taking everybody time to get up, so hello everyone. Oh, my name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. And I saddles the royal flea. And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales. Thank you so much, everybody who's pledged to the previous campaign. It will be back later on this year with the first volume of the Tears of the Mother story arc. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm currently known and currently running a campaign for my medieval fantasy drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which is on Kickstarter right now. We have exactly 3 weeks left on the campaign. Thank you so much to everybody who's pledged so far. And if you haven't yet and want to check it out, the link is in the chat and in the show notes. So like I said, we have 3 weeks left on the campaign. But why wait? Pick up your copy of Eagle Raven Volume 2, collecting issues 5 through 8 of this 15-issue series. But in the meantime, you can also read both my comics online at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, and Tall Tales, TAILS online.com. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at Daphne Lage, LAGE Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. So if you're joining us from Facebook, if you're joining us from LinkedIn, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever any of our shows go live. And to tell you more about it, here's Nita.
So my name is Nita, and I market and semi-publicist whatever comics, and I have a YouTube channel, Indie Comics Network. It's mine. Yeah. We talk about comics and stuff, and you can find it at indiecomicsnetwork.com.
It's .com. Cut.
Now imagine that in Chris Pratt's voice.
No, I don't want to. It makes me angry.
Oh, although I have to admit, though, I mean, I know I've mentioned this before. I really did enjoy the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Okay, yeah, they did nail that.
Right.
That was great.
I really did like it. I really did like the way how they explained that. Oh, it's me, Mario. But I am still bothered by the one thing that really took me out of the moment, where the most unrealistic thing in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
What was that?
Mario's father being disappointed in him because he's a plumber.
Huh.
No Italian father worth his salt would ever say that to his son. So yeah, so that was like just my one picadillo of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Everything else was fine, but his dad disappointed in him for being a plumber? No way. Impossible. Impossible. But yeah, Chris Pratt doing Homestar Runner, it's like, I don't know about that. So I mean, but the thing is though, it's like, I don't know, could a Homestar, right? I know this is the Garfield movie that's out, but and even then it's like I barely knew it was out. I just saw people talking about it, right? But it's like, would like a Homestar Runner movie work? I mean, that literally is like I don't know. It's kind of like having a Mr. Beast movie. Unless you're terminally online, would you even understand it? Like, it's a surrealist. Like the how would the average person even understand what the Homestar Runner is? You know, I mean, it's just like very surrealistic. You know. It's just, yeah, I don't know, and I don't know, and I'm still having a hard time imagining it with Chris Pratt's voice. So
yeah, it's gonna be
right, yeah, you know.
I'm not negative at all.
Right, no, well, although
he says it's probably a joke. I don't know, man.
Hopefully,
I hope so.
Yeah, you know, so yeah, so. So what's going on with you, Nita? So work kind of getting at you, getting to you. Oh, right. Oh, okay. All right.
Work.
Send help.
It's comics. It's supposed to be fun, right?
Oh, brother. No, it is not.
The people I work for aren't even the problem. It's like everybody. No, not everybody. But like, okay, not all men. But like,
not all comic book publishers.
Not all comic book publishers. A lot are like tweaking my nerves lately, man.
Right.
With the fucking trauma and shit starting and hurt flinging and fucking
I mean, yeah, it is very straight. Like I don't know, like especially actually no, you know what? I keep saying that over. It's like especially this week. It's like every week. It's like, you know, it'd just be easier to say every week.
Yeah, I mean,
there's just something going on, you know.
You got Polito versus the Wheelers. You got fucking, it's like this.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome.
Yeah,
and just everybody's kung fu fighting.
Yeah,
and I mean, like, bro, it's fucking comics. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, and it's like, and considering that it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess that's kind of like the title of it's related to the title of the show.
I didn't have anything clean that was black.
Yeah, right.
I like black because it matches my soul.
Oh no. Oh. But yeah. So I guess, what happened?
Check it.
Oh, there you go. So there we go. It's a affirmational T-shirt. Yeah. Isn't it funny how it's like we have just absolutely no problem.
Thank you.
It's just yeah, it is. It is actually. You know what? It's like once you let go of the nostalgia, you will lead a happier life. No, but I mean, isn't it funny how it's like that we have absolutely no problem letting cats play with plastic bags, but it like a baby, like a human baby, just looks at it.
I do, because my stupid ass cat eats them.
Oh well, that's different. That's different.
that little autism.
You know, foreign object. You know.
Oh shit. You should see some of the shit this little bastard's hacked up.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's like the thing is though, it's like, you know, when my sister, the way she sees it on the opposite end, it's like what gets stuck. You know? Yeah.
So I don't want that.
You know, yeah. So it's like, so that's different though. But it's yeah. So Good morning, everybody. Yes, and like I said, if you are joining us from Facebook, if you're joining us from LinkedIn, come on over to YouTube and join the sexy people in the chat. It's a lot easier for us to talk to each other when you're actually right here than if you're on, like Facebook, which has a tendency to like do whatever it wants.
Comments, and drop the stream, whatever.
Right,
and
yeah.
And I don't know what that is. Apparently, I used it unprofessionally or something.
Oh, well, right, yes.
Cool. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm winging it, motherfuckers.
Well, it's like, it's like, look, you just keep using it until they kick you out,
But they ain't kicked me out yet.
Right, yeah. So
in fact, LinkedIn's the only platform I've never got a warning from.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, and what is it? Like LinkedIn is like the second largest Oh, it has. Yeah, you see. That's why everybody Michael is saying that Facebook wasn't even showing in their chats again. So it's like, so just come on over to YouTube. Just sign up while you're here, subscribe, and join us in the chat's a lot easier. So
turns this on.
Right.
See, look at her turning red. Turns her on. Come on over.
Oh my goodness. It's 90 degrees in this office. It's 90 degrees in this office, and I have the complexion of a jellyfish.
God.
Or an Irish person. Jesus Christ. I get that all the time. People go, oh, so it's like, what? You see, the funny thing is, like, I get, this is like the one thing I've always gotten. I've always hated it. Because especially once I realized what exactly they were saying, right? Where people would go, oh, so what's your heritage? And I go, Spanish, Portuguese, ends up German. It's like, and she goes, oh, really? Because I thought you were like something else. Right? It's like, no, it's like, don't you have like something else? And now here's the funny thing, right? Because they always say it like that. It's like, don't you have something else? Like, what the fuck you talking about, right? And then it's like they kind of like keep pushing it like that until I realize they're waiting for me to say Irish.
Ouch. I get that though. And it's like not even
and it's like, oh, it's my right, because it's like it's like I suffer from mild rosacea, and I have it's like any rush of blood to my face immediately shows up like fucking Rudolph's nose. But for some reason, and that always triggers people to go, oh, are you Irish? It's like, fuck you. And it's like, doesn't take much, I guess. But yeah, it's like, so for some reason they never want to say Irish off the bat, right? And then it's like, that's when I realized, like, oh, is my face red? It's like, really? Irish is what comes to mind.
I mean, I do get a kick out of making you blush, but Irish has never come to mind.
Irish, right? It's, I mean, it's like, it's just so dumb. It's like, yeah, but it's just like, yeah, they're all like that. It's like they don't want to say the word Irish, and it's like, I just don't understand why. It's like, why? Because associating Irish people with red faces is kind of racist, but I don't know. Worse, I guess. I mean, I don't know. So yeah, I hate that shit. Where was I? What was I? Oh yeah, the title. The title, right? So we've been seeing, just again, it's like, Ronan says everyone thinks I'm Hispanic, but I'm not. It happens. Why does it matter is the bigger question. Yeah, because they're usually really pushy about it. They're super pushy about that shit. And it's like, I don't understand. Like, what are you getting at?
Shit, I get called a liar.
Right.
Until people meet my mother. And
right.
And it's like, oh.
Right, because you're native, right? Or you're part native, right? Yeah,
like a lot part,
right?
I don't look anything like anybody in my family. I'm defective.
Well, but you know what it is? It's like they're so used to like they're so used to basic white bitches saying, "Oh, I'm part Cherokee."
Like, no, I'm Creek, motherfucker. Creek.
Right, I was a Cherokee princess. You know, so they're used to that shit. Who lies about being Irish? You know. I mean, good grief. I mean,
oh my God, somebody benefited from us.
Right. Oh, last show really made me think about how I'm marketing my comic. Thanks, loads. We try.
We try.
We try to be educational in between dumb conversations like this.
I'm sorry, I keep changing
Oh
the
my
subject.
goodness. Right.
Get it, Lace. What's our title about?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Right. So I guess a lot of people are having issues on Kickstarter lately.
Oh yes.
You know, I guess a lot of people are oh no. Uh-oh. 135th nated on my great grandmother. Oh my goodness.
I needed that.
Yeah. But Kickstarter focus. So yeah, so I guess a lot of people are kind of like, I don't know, like having a hard time on Kickstarter lately. Although I can't say otherwise because you know, it's like my Kickstarter is doing a little bit slower than the first volume. You know, and I'm like I said, I'm trying not to let it get to me. The only thing that's kind of like keeping me sane is the fact that there's a lot of PDF sales on it. So even though
that's not a bad thing.
No,
I was so tired of hearing people be like, "Oh, but it's just PDF, motherfucker."
Right?
PDFs are 100% profit.
It's like, look, if I could have a campaign that sells 100% PDFs, I'd be happy.
Yeah, right.
It's so easy to send out digital files, you know, and you can set them up however you want, and you know, it's just so much easier than having to like send stuff to a printer. And and that's the thing too. I have to keep an eye out today, supposedly. So the other day I showed everybody my proof for the first House of Bob sketchbook for the next campaign, right? So I can't open it for obvious reasons, but you know, this is going to be the format for my House of Bob series. And for this campaign, I did a remaster of an old comic that I did called Mondo Bondo. And I'm supposed to be getting that today. I thought that I was only going to get that the first week of July. But it seems like I'm getting it today. Unfortunately, it's coming through like my post person doesn't show up until later on in the day. So I'm not going to obviously I would have liked to have had it for the show. But yeah, so once I get that in, then I can finally start putting together the campaign for these books, because that's going to be next after Eager Raven. But, you know, that's neither here nor there right now because I still have 3 weeks to go on Eager Raven. So yeah. So if you want to check that out, links in the show notes and in the chat. So yeah. So it's like, yeah, I'm seeing kind of like you see, that's the thing though. I don't know if it's a slowdown on my end or whether the fact that it's a trade paperback is just a different thing. You know, and it's like I just would like to hope that it does average to the last trade paperback campaign. So, you know, in the end, I'm trying not to get wrapped up in the minutia of it. It's like however it goes, right? It's like I've already angsted enough on this campaign.
But you set yourself up to be angst with this campaign.
Right? Yeah,
you really did, because you just said that you wanted to be average to the first trade. Yeah. But the problem with that is you had a lot of different things in the first campaign that automatically bolstered or boosted your numbers.
Yeah, that's true.
That are not here.
Yeah,
so that's an unfair comparison.
Well, yeah. It's like once you started explaining all the other stuff that I had on my first campaign, it's like, oh yeah, you're right. Like I had like nude covers and stuff.
Nude covers, a hardcover version,
right? You know, it's there was I had a lot going on that campaign. Right. So yeah, you're right. I can't really compare it. And that's kind of the mistake that a lot of people do make, is that, you know, they try to compare their previous campaigns, and it's kind of like what they say in finance, you know, past performance does not reflect does not like predict future gains or something like that.
Right.
And it's kind of the same thing here. I mean, like I said, I would like to remain average, but you know, maybe the trade paperbacks are just something different. And like you said, I had extra stuff on the first campaign that I mean, now that I remember, like I really remember like really thinking about that and going like, oh my God, it's like I really have to do something special for the trade. You know,
Right.
I have to kind of like bulk it up a bit. And I didn't have that same thought with this one. You know, like I have like, you know, some special stuff on it, but nothing, you know, like really, you know, big on it. So yeah, so I guess, you know, I don't know. You know what? In the end, it's like no matter what, I have no control over it. So I just have to calm down and just like let it roll the way it does, right?
Right.
So, but the thing is, though, there's other people out there that they're not as chill.
No, they angry little fellas.
Yeah,
angry.
You know, they're kind of like not chilling over
No.
this stuff, and it's like, and it is kind of, I don't know. I'm still kind of getting used to like how people like really throw their business out there.
Huh.
You know, because like, look, it's one thing to kind of like sit back and want to like navel gaze, right? Hey, friend,
Right.
you know, and kind of like going, oh, well, let's see. Let's say, what can I do here? What can I do? They're kind of like like there's a difference between analyzing a situation and angsting over it. And I think that way too many people are angsting. But even then, it's like, you know, you can analyze it, but, you know, in the end, it's like, what are you doing? You know, like what exactly are you analyzing?
Right.
You know, if you're pretty much doing everything the way you did it before, you know, and you're not getting the same results, there could be a whole bunch of reasons why that's, you know, not why that's happening. You know, I mean, it's like if you're promoting, if you're, you know, contacting your mailing list, if you're
doing the work.
Right. If you're still doing that, but all of a sudden you're not seeing the same gains, it's like, yeah, there's most likely something going on, but sometimes it's not about you, you know, and that's also the thing too, that I have to like, you know, kind of accept that it's like, you know, sometimes outside forces, you know, are responsible for things that
it's the midichlorians.
It's the midichlorians.
God, that was the stupidest shit they ever did.
Right, and that was Lucas who did that, you know, but all of a sudden everybody is nostalgic for midichlorians.
Yeah, right.
You know, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's let go of the nostalgia, people.
Yeah.
You'll feel a lot better. You know, then you know, sitting around, hello, instead of like getting angry at Space Samurai. You know, it's like, you know, samurai. Right. You know, it's like, you know, right. So I had to like kind of like, like I said, it's I always tell JD, not every campaign is the same. You can't compare apples to oranges. It's
even
true.
Within your own collection, every individual IP is different.
Yeah.
Every fucking one.
Right. And it doesn't matter if you have IPs that superficially look similar.
Right.
Because I think like the one piece of data that still surprises me to this day was finding out, like, me and Jose, all three of our books, they're all fantasy.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But we have 3 different audiences for those books. I mean,
very little crossover.
Very little overlap. I think like the overlap between the 3 books, between the Oswald Chronicles, Tall Tales, and Eagle Raven is only 8%.
Yep.
Which means that most people who find our books are not collecting all of them. Right. Even though superficially they're all fantasy, but they're all different enough that I cannot compare my sales on Tall Tales to Eagle Raven and vice versa. And, you know, Oswald cannot compare. We just can't compare our books to each other. You know, and that was a real eye-opener for me. Right. And you can't market each campaign the same. It's true, because the other thing that I'm also, you know, reminding myself that the individual issues is a different audience from the people who buy trade paperbacks.
Yes.
So again, it's like I can't like say, well, I get 160 people on my individual issues. I should be able to get 160 on my trade paperback. Not necessarily. that's not necessarily true either. And you know, I have to adjust my expectations. So going back to the people who, I don't know, who complain about, they're angsting online. They're not analyzing, they're angsting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's like, in one argument that keeps popping up is that, well, why isn't my book doing well when that book over there is doing well and we're practically the same thing? It's like, well, because you're not the same thing, you know, and to kind of like, and also it's like to kind of like remind everybody, stop counting other people's money. If you, God, you know, it's like, you don't know what they're doing. You know, even because here's also the thing too. It's like, this has happened in every industry. What's the secret to your success? Oh, I just work hard, and you know, you got to put you have to put the gumption and bootstraps and pedal to the metal, and you know, and whatnot. And then you turn around and you find out that they have like connections, and you know, it's like, oh, they have family members that support them so that they're able to spend, you know, an inordinate amount of time working on the project, or they have you know, they come from money, so they need, you know, they don't, you know, like the money isn't an issue, and or something. There's like other things that they don't tell you, you know. Right. You know, when so it's like, you know, so you don't want to look at other people and go,
it was the struggle. Nobody wants to hear daddy handed you $100,000 to make your first comic.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know.
That story don't mean nothing. We got, it's the struggle.
You know, it's like, I don't understand how all you need to do is work hard, and you can be like me at 21, owning your first home. And it's like, oh, you know, it's like, oh, really? So what did you do? It's like, oh, I worked hard. You know, I scrimped and saved, and my father gave me $100,000 to use as a down payment.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, yeah, so you can't, right. So it's like, you can't really like saying, why am I not succeeding when that person is succeeding is not helpful to you.
Some are fudging.
Right. Some are a lot of fudging. A lot of fudging. Yeah,
you go and you look and you fucking break down the tiers and you go compare it to the backers that you're seeing on Track and what you've seen back each individual tier, and it's like the maths don't add up.
Right. Yeah.
Add-ons, your maths don't make sense.
Right. Yeah. That there's certain there's certain odd jumps that happen. You know, it's like, you know. So yeah. So you can't even like do that between your own books. You know, it's like, because like I said, it was like, we do fantasy books and we have 3 different audiences. So we have to, and then it's like the audience for the trades is different from the audience from the individual issues. So it's a lot of math going on, you know. Because also the thing is like, so recently there was somebody complaining about, oh, it's like my campaign's not doing as well, and this, that, and the other thing, and I don't understand why. And you know, like, that person's doing well, why isn't mine doing well? And then it's like my question that I always have to remember to always ask is, what were your expectations? And what are those expectations based on?
Well, they're based on the fact that my mama likes my art.
You know, I mean, I hope it's not, you know, but because it's like, that's a question I have to ask myself. Like, every time I start kind of,
because I'm entitled to this money because I made a book.
Well,
don't you know anything? It's because you're a woman.
Well,
expectations,
right? Well, you know, realistic expectations, I guess. You know, I mean, because it's like I said, it's like I'm looking at my campaign and I'm trying to like not angst about it, right?
Right.
So it's like, okay, what are the expectations? Why am I disappointed? Right. And this could be anybody, right? So this other person posting on Facebook, oh, I'm so disappointed. I'm gonna take a break. It's like this isn't working for me. I just want to do comics.
I got guys fucking quitting over this shit. It's like, dude.
Right. Yeah. It's like, and it's like, why? Again, it's like, well, why? What were you're disappointed because your expectations weren't met. So what were your expectations? And I think that, and of course, it's like, what are they based on? Because to say that, well, Pulido does that type of book, so if I do that type of book, I'm going to have the same success as Pulido. Your expectations is a little out of whack with reality. It's like, oh, I have this, my favorite Batman but different book. Batman does well, so my book should do well. And it's like, no, that's not how you set your expectations. So, like I said, it's like, so there's been like a lot of this, grousing. And I was on Blue Sky, right? And I was reading, and there was a similar thread going on where everyone was kind of grousing about, oh, it's so tough and this, that, and the other thing, right? And somebody had posted, which is the title of the show, it's like, God made comics like God made Arrakis. It's to test the faithful. And you know me, I love a good Dune, a Dune reference. So there was a while ago, I had posted up a thing from Rick Rubin. I always want to say Paul Rubin. That's Pee Wee Herman. Rick Rubin. He's the producer. He's the mega producer where it's like, look, if you like the Beastie Boys and Run DMC, the whole thing, just look him up, Rick Rubin. And he had posted a thing about that when you do something creative, it's an offering to God.
Right.
Right. Like it's, so that's how seriously he takes his work.
Right.
And then combined with the idea of God made comics to test the faithful.
It becomes next level.
Right. It's like all of a sudden, it's like I'm looking at comics in like a different, in a different space, right? Different headspace. Right. Because I mean, that's kind of how I always came into comics. I came into comics kind of rather accidentally. I mean, it's like I actually didn't start reading comics seriously until I was like 12 when I found ElfQuest and Rocket Raccoon, but mostly it was ElfQuest. And right. And and it's like, so I have like kind of like this different relationship to comics, and it's like that, well, at least I seem to, as a, I guess compared to, I don't know, maybe I don't, I just started really late.
That's not really late. I was 17.
Right. Oh, okay. Because it's like most people say that they've been reading comics since they were 5 and stuff.
And no, I was reading Stephen King and fucking.
Well, yeah, you see, that's where that's what I was doing. Shit. Yeah,
and then I got into the Forgotten Realms.
Right. Yeah.
And once I became immersed in the world of fantasy, then MTV came out with Oddities.
Right.
Which is how I discovered the Max. And when I was talking to somebody about it, they were like, "Hey, you realize that's a comic book, right?"
Right. Yeah.
And so yeah, like.
Right. So then it's like the opportunity to do comics kind of came accidentally. And I've been doing it ever since. But I guess like the one thing that like my whole thing about doing comics is that I've never wanted to work at Marvel. Like that was like never my intention, never anything. Like Marvel and DC was never a goal for me. Like even like at the height of the whole Image frenzy, like that type of mainstream thing wasn't like a goal. You know,
Right.
it was like one of those things like, oh, wouldn't it be cool, right? You know, and then it's like, you know, when you're doing comics at like 16, 17, you know, it's like, yeah, you can kind of get wrapped up in the you know, the oh, what is it, like kind of like the hype of it. It's like, oh yeah, it's like one day we're gonna be like that, right? But it's like, you know, you're fucking 17. You know, it's like you're allowed to have kind of like these delusions of grandeur when you're 17, 18. You know, it's like, you know, you think you're invincible. You think, oh, you know, shit doesn't stink. It's like we're going to be like them any day now, right?
The mid-30s roll around.
Right. But, you know, but eventually we kind of outgrew that. You know, and I guess if anything, that's probably the benefit of starting doing comics at a young age, because we get to outgrow the delusion, I guess. So now it's like I'm very, you know, I'm very like, okay, like what's the situation that I'm in now? What's going on now? Like it's very like the reality. You know, it's like we were talking, you know, the other day about like, you know, like in the end, it's like, what's wrong with being mid? You know, what's wrong with being average? There's nothing wrong. Technically, there's nothing wrong with being average. The average person on Kickstarter makes between $1,000 and $9,000. 75% of Kickstarter is in that range, right? But you would think that was like the worst place to be, the way some people are talking, you know? And you know, and for me, it's like there just comes a point where it's like, you know, look, I tried to manufacture a $10,000 campaign and I fell short by $2,000. I came close, you know, but you know, the thing is though, like I had to do some really outrageous shit. You know that scene in Zoolander, where they're doing the walk off, with David Bowie, right? And you know, Zoolander's, and then it's like Hans literally had to like, he did this move where he pulled his underwear out of his pants.
Oh yeah.
And then like Zoolander was like all distraught, you know, going, oh, you know, Hans beat me, and then it's like the girlfriend is like going, yeah, but look at what he had to do to beat you.
Right.
He literally had to pull his underwear out of his pants. Right. So sometimes that's what it feels like. Right, that it's like, oh yeah, I almost made a $10,000 campaign, but look at what I had to do,
right?
You know, to get to that point. And it's like, look, I had a lot of fun with that campaign.
It was,
you know, it was, I really did have, it was exhausting. The shit lasted a year. It was exhausting, but in the end, I don't regret one thing of it. I love the book. I'm probably going to re-release it, you know, eventually. But you know, but look at what I had to do to even get, you know, to have one issue make $8,000. No, it was 7. I think it was like 78. 7,008. And you know, but the thing is though, it's like, but in the end, it's like I realized that it's like, you know what, I really don't want to do that. If that's how much work I have to do just to get to a certain point, right? Especially since, you know, so it was that campaign that taught me I needed to focus on what was important. What was my most important book? Of course, it's Tall Tales and it's Eagle Raven. And it's like, you know what? Before I decide to do any more of these funky type, you know, campaigns, let me focus on the books that I really need to get done.
Right.
So it's like, okay, let me focus on finishing Eagle Raven. It's like I'm already like on page 8 of issue 14. It is freaking me out in a good way. I'm about to hit a scene that's another major beat that I have in my sketchbook from 2020.
Uh-oh.
It's I'm about to hit another one of those. And you know, it's 15 issues, and you know, and it's like the fact that it's like, look, I want to finish this, right? Same thing with Tall Tales. I have 2 more issues left on Tears of the Mother. I want to finish that, so at least I can say this is finished. This is finished. And you know how I love to collect my trade paperbacks, so,
right?
You know? And then after that, then I can probably start, you know, like go back to experimenting with like, okay, you know, it's like Viking Slut did this much. How much further? What else do I have to do to get it to push it forward more? Like, you know, because it's, you know, because it's like Viking Slut is going to have more of an appeal to a certain audience than my main series.
Right.
You know, and that's just the reality of it, you know? And you know, and the thing is too, is like it also, you know, you also got to think of the environment that you're in. You know, I mean, you know, it's like, okay, what's actually working? What actually sells in this environment, right? And if you're doing something that's an outlier to that, I just think it's very silly for people to go, oh, why isn't my book selling? I don't know. Maybe it's because you're putting out a quirky, weird book that looks like it should be printed as a zine, you know, but you're expecting to make Polito money, you know, or Zombie Tramp money, or it's like, or, you know, it's like one has nothing to do with the other. You know, what you're putting out, it's like, you know, what you're putting out has, you know, it's like you can tell from the environment that unless you have an audience already set up to buy that book that you've been building up for like the past, I don't know, 10 years maybe, you know, yeah, you can't compare apples to oranges. You know, it's like, you know, like fantasy books, they do okay on Kickstarter. You know, it's like only very particular ones make it past, you know, are in the top 200. So I can't compare Eagle Raven to Order of the Stick. You know, it's like one has nothing to do with the other. Again, it's like, don't, you know, I can't, it's like, you know, any more than Jose can compare Oswald to Good Omens. You know, it's like, it's too different. You know, you know, it's like not only that, but it's like, you know, the audience size is different. You know, you're not going to have the same results. So you can't compare yourself to what other people are doing. I mean, you can try to figure out what they're doing, right? But in the end, what they're doing usually is something that they're way ahead of you on, you know? And mostly what they're way ahead of you on is building that audience. You know, you can't. Oh, that's the box I sent you.
It is.
You know, you know. So the question is, right? So going back to the title, the question is, then why are you doing this? Right? Why? It's like, again, what is your why in the end when you're feeling despondent about your book, right? Ask yourself, why are you even doing this? Was it for, you know, the cars and the blow? You know, you're in the wrong business. You're in the wrong business. You know, I mean, was it because you just had a story to tell and you were, you know, it's like you just wanted to put it out, and it's like, oh, and Kickstarter gives you an easy way to find an audience for it? I mean, that's the benefit of Kickstarter. It allows you to find you can start from zero and you can find an audience very quickly on Kickstarter. I mean, I started off with 16 backers. I mean, look, I was even shocked I got 16 backers on my first campaign. You know, but yeah, am I doing gangbusters? No, but you know what? It's like I'm doing okay. And I think for somebody who does most of the work themselves, I'm doing more than okay on Kickstarter, right? Now, of course, your mileage is going to vary if you have to pay out, right? But you know, the thing is though, is that just because you're paying out for books, you're spending $6,000 on a book, doesn't mean that you're going to make $6,000 on Kickstarter. You know, you know, but so you have to know your why. Why are you doing this? There's so many other there's so many easier ways to make money. Right. Especially in New York, it is easier. I would make more money faster and more consistently working at a Chipotle than doing Kickstarter. I might be just hungry. Because we're always doing this around lunchtime. I'm always talking about Chipotle. But so here's like the other question too. It's like when you're lamenting, it's like, I'm of the mindset that if you're saying this is something you need to do, that this is literally a passion for you, that you need to make comics, you have these stories to tell, then how much money you make on Kickstarter is kind of not related to that. Right. It kind of has nothing to do with that. Like I could have just made $1,000 on Kickstarter, and just hit my goal. That's it. And would I be very disappointed? Absolutely. But it doesn't stop the next issue from coming out.
Right. You're still moving forward.
Right. It's like, okay, if I just make $5,000 in this campaign instead of $8,000, the next issue is still coming out. I'm still working on this book. Like I said, I'm on issue 14 right now. So it's like, what, so it's like, so that's kind of like the thing for me is like, can you really say I need to do this? It's a passion, but if it doesn't make me money on Kickstarter, I'm quitting it.
Well, I mean, we see it all the time. So yeah.
Well, right. But it's like, but then it's not a passion then. No. Then it's not a calling. Right? God made comics to test the faithful. Are you faithful?
Yeah.
You
pass around that offering plate. Here's a PayPal.
It's like, how, it's like, what is it? It's like, are you married to this?
Huh.
For better, for worse, sickness and in health, and money, no money. I mean, that's kind of like when you tell me that something is a passion that you have a compulsion to do it. The money shouldn't matter. Right. I'm not saying the money doesn't matter. That's different.
Right.
Especially if you're going out of your way to pay to have these books done. But the thing is, though, right, that shouldn't be the deciding factor. Nobody told you to go spend money to make these books. Nobody told you to do that.
Right.
Again, you could have just gone to Chipotle and made better money there. But yeah, so that's kind of like, and I don't know. It's like, if you weren't making, like, if you, every time you put out a book and you only make $1,000 on it, would you still do it? If you made $500 on it, would you still do it? And don't tell, and it's like, because it's like, if you're telling me, oh, well, I got to pay these people and this, then it's not a passion then it's like, you enjoy doing it.
Right.
But if it's that dependent on the money, I don't know. That's kind of like where it's like, it's like, yeah, I'm most likely have a different mindset, from a lot of people, because I can literally,
if we're passionate about something, if we're passionate about a movie, if we're passionate about something, that we find a way.
Right. I mean, you people making their entire personalities about defending Star Wars. And you make no fucking money on that, and you're and people talk about it like they own it, like they're George Lucas. Like you're the one that made $4 billion just selling the shit, and stock options. I mean, it's like you're that concerned about something for fucking free.
Huh.
I mean, it's like, but it's like, oh, my Kickstarter only made 2,000 or 3,000. I'm quitting comics.
Bro, you got people crying, making 10 almost. Or
oh
more
yeah, I know, right?
like,
yeah, those are the funny ones.
What are you doing? What is the matter with you?
Yeah, they're crying. They only made $16,000. And it's like, look, I would love to fail at $16,000, and I'm not saying that they have no right to wonder why is it that at a high of 30,000 now they can barely make 16. I mean, there's some research there. There's some research there that you're trying to do,
but to throw in the towel over it is
right. Right, exactly. It's just like, well, if this is a passion, if this is something that you want to do, then you're going to do it regardless, right?
Right.
And and I'm pretty sure there's somebody in the audience completely taking this all wrong. It's like, oh, it's like, oh, easy for you to say if you don't have to pay for anybody and this, and I don't have to pay for anybody. And I'm also in a situation where I don't have to work at Chipotle.
Oh, this poor shaming.
And, I mean, but what I'm asking people to think about is what's the real situation? It's like, all these people crying and the thing is, they're crying while doing this. Oh, why are they succeeding? Why are they doing this? Why that thing? And it's like, well, here's the thing. How are you controlling what that other person's doing?
You're not. You can't. It's
right?
Beyond. Why are you worrying about it?
And it's like, so it's like, like how introspective do you have to be? It's like, or maybe you have to be introspective to begin with. It's like, what is it? It's like, if you're having issues, like I said, there's a difference. It's like, angsting is not the same thing as studying your situation. It's like, okay, you're doing this type of book. It doesn't seem to get traction on Kickstarter. Well, here's the thing. What traction were you expecting? Right. Again, what is this based on? Right.
What's that bar you're running into?
Right. It's like, what's that bar what's that bar you keep running into? Is it realistic? Is it even based on anything? There was on a group, there was a guy who was talking about how he was upset that his horror comic didn't fund. Right. And he didn't understand why, because his previous book did so well. But his previous book was like a YA comic. And it's like, bro, why are you comparing the two? That has, because they thought that's like, if people are fans of my work, they'll collect everything. And it's like, no. It's like how many, I mean, it's like, if you have, like, look, like I said, I love Wendy Pini.
Right.
But I stopped collecting ElfQuest once they started doing, like, all the other different series with different artists. It's like, I enjoyed ElfQuest up to a point. This happens to me several times where it's like people find out. Have you ever had a situation where, you have a collection, right? And people kind of misinterpret what the collection is. And then it's like they just buy you any old shit because it's like, oh, that's, because you collect this, right? It's like, again, going back to Zoolander, the scene with the girlfriend when he finally goes to her house and it's just full of unicorn stuff. Right? Was it Zoolander? No. I think that was the other one. That was the dodgeball one.
Yeah.
I think, like, he goes to the girlfriend's house, and she has everything is unicorns, right? And I'm sitting there, like, staring, like, hyper focusing on everything that she has in her house. But the thing is, though, is that, like, just because I collect or like I collect unicorns or like unicorn stuff doesn't mean I'll take any piece of shit from the 99-cent store,
right,
that has a unicorn on it. right? It's the same thing with my Rocket Raccoon collection. There came a point where I became very picky as to like which Rocket Raccoon pieces I wanted. And it got to a point where it's like, okay, it has to have a sweet face. I'm like really tired of the angry Rocket Raccoon like image. So it's like, no, if it has a sweet face, I buy it practically immediately. So like I have a little plush animal there. Like I saw it for 30 seconds when we were at Walt Disney World, and like at the 40th second I was paying for it. You know? So the collection is, you know, it's like just because I like something doesn't mean I like all of it. And you have to kind of look at your audience the same way. Just because they like fantasy doesn't mean they're going to like Eagle Raven, doesn't mean they're going to like Tall Tales, doesn't mean they're going to like Oswald, right? It's like maybe they like something a little bit more like, what was it, Forgotten Realms that you were talking about? Like maybe they prefer that. You know, maybe it's like, oh, I need something more D&D related,
right,
or something. But it's like, yeah, it's like, or I'm not into furries, you know, you know, so yeah, so it's like, so it's kind of like, you know, my thoughts are a little all over the place with this, as always, because like also the thing is too, it's like, I don't know whether it's a peeve. Yeah, it's a peeve. Like, remember in the past, everyone was saying, well, like the big marketing thing, everyone was saying that this is a passion project. It took me 20 years to make this comic. Right. And now nobody says that anymore. Right. Now, what do they say? Right. They say it's like, oh, I need to do this. Right. I was like, oh, because I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
But the second my numbers ain't where I want them to be,
but the second the numbers, the numbers don't add up, all of a sudden, I can't. Yeah. Oh, I can't handle this.
Right.
And it's like, look, comics. Yeah, if you can't handle it, then maybe you shouldn't be here. You know, it's like, look, nobody told you it was going to be easy. By now, nobody has an excuse. You know, it's like to think that it's like, oh, well, I thought it would be easy. Who told you that? Who lied to you? Who lied to you, and why did you listen to them? You know, because it's not easy. And this is coming from somebody who's been doing this shit since 1992. I've seen the dead bodies. We've rolled over the dead bodies. We've walked over the dead bodies. We've buried the dead bodies. You know, the only difference between us and them is that we're still here. We're still doing it. When I had a job, a regular job, I was waking up at 5, 6 in the morning to do comics. You know, I was doing that regardless. Something was getting done, even if I wasn't like, and this was like before Kickstarter, after we got kicked out of Diamond, you know, I was still doing comics. There was no getting out of it. You know, so it's like, yeah. So it's like when people say, you know, it's like, oh, I do this, it's in my blood. And I'm like, wait, really? Is it? Because your actions don't match what's coming out of your mouth.
Right.
And that's really what I'm looking at. Because you can't tell me this is a passion on one side, you have a calling, and then the other side is, oh,
but I have an expectation or standard that I'm entitled to. And now that I haven't gotten my entitlement, I'm leaving.
Right. Yeah. You know, that you were entitled to a standard that wasn't based on reality. You know, it's like, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like joining a convent and then like complaining.
You can't get laid.
Or something.
God, I can't fuck anybody.
You know, I mean, it's like, you know, it's like, oh, I quit. You know, it's like, I'm leaving, you know, it's like, then it's like, come on. It's like, how did you not know? How did you not know that there was going to be a level of sacrifice and commitment that you were going to have to put on the table? Like, it had to be on the table, that there was going to be a certain level of skin in the game you had to put in. How did you not know that?
Right.
You know, And whenever I see these people complaining on Facebook, or you tell me about these people complaining on Facebook, it's like, yeah, it's like, well, how did you not know?
Mm.
You know, how did you misunderstand what this is? You know?
Easy. I was supposed to draw pictures and write a couple words.
You know, most supposed to throw money at some, or it's like, you know, or a lot of these guys like, oh, I just pay somebody to do art and I'm supposed to be a big hit. You know, it's like, well, if your expectation is that you want it to blow up, it's like, what's that based on? That you did Batman but different? Well, let me put it to like this. You know, for everybody doing Batman but different, right? How many Batman but different comics do you own? You know? It's like, does your collection reflect what you're expecting your audience to do for you? Because it's like, if you're not collecting, because it's like, if you're collecting Batman, but you're not collecting Batman but different, then why would you think people would who liked Batman will collect your Batman but different book? Right? I mean, you know, it's like, it's like, you know, I collect fantasy books, you know, and, you know, it's related, you know, to what I'm working on. So it's like, yeah, it's like, I kind of expect my audience to like, well, yeah, it's like, you also collect ElfQuest, you also collect Conan, you know, you also read the Chronicles of Narnia, you like to watch The Witcher, you know, it's all related. Why? Because I do all that stuff.
Right.
So, you know, my expectation of my audience is the same as I have for myself. But if you have an expectation for your audience that you yourself are not following, you know, you want your audience to collect you're making independent comics for people to collect independent comics when you yourself don't collect independent comics. And I've seen this plenty of times too. You know, it's like, oh, like collect Image. That's not what I'm talking about. I collect Boom. That's not what I'm talking about. Are you collecting shit that's just barely a step above zines? You know? I mean, really, it's like, are you collecting stuff that's barely above being printed on a Xerox machine? Although technically with POD, everything is technically printed on a Xerox machine. So maybe not a good analogy. So why are you having that expectation for your audience when you don't do that? You know, so it's, you know, so it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like, you know what? I just really like the Dune reference. I just really did. You know? Because it was just too funny. Like, I told Jose that, and even he started laughing, and he goes, "Oh, it's true. God made comics to test the faith of soul." You know, so you want to open up, imagine, as we Western types think comics is just something for kids. That's part of the problem, you know, because it's like, you know, I collect French comics, I collect manga, right. You know, and it's like, yo, French comics are a whole other level, you know, because this is literally comics they are making specifically for adults. And I'm not talking about something childish targeted to adults. They're making comics for adults. Again, two different things. You know, it's a completely different market. You know, the fact that I can, you know, that I can find books, you know, that doesn't feel like, you know, it's like, oh, you're treating me like I'm still 12.
Right.
You know, even though it's supposed to be older, right? It's like, oh, but you're still 12 technically.
Right.
And it's like, no, I'm an adult who likes to read comics. Give me a comics that caters to that.
Right.
You know, so yeah, it's, you know, it's a different market. But yeah, and also, yeah, so that's kind of I don't know, like I said, it's like I'm angsting over my campaign, and I'm trying to talk myself off the edge. You know, it's like, you know, like because
like
yeah,
you
it's
do.
like I do at every campaign, and really it's like, and I think that this is different than going on, like complaining. I'm not complaining about my campaign. I'm just navel gazing about it.
Right.
It's like, what more could have I done? Right. And in the end, I'm taking this as an example, as like, okay, on my future campaigns, I have 3. I was just telling Nita before, I have 3 event campaigns. Right. In my future, I have the Volume 3, Eagle Raven Volume 3, Eagle Raven Volume 4, and Eagle Raven issue 15. Those are my 3 because, Volume 3 because it's a trade paperback, Volume 4 because it's the final trade paperback, and issue 15 because it's the final issue of the series.
Right.
So those are my 3 event campaigns. So it's like, okay, what am I learning from this campaign this time around? Even though I have 3 weeks left, and what can I apply to these 3 event campaigns? And it's like, what? Maybe it's just, I just need to do something different. Yeah.
She runs up to the edge every time and she just stares down.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
I stare into the abyss, and the abyss is like going, are you again? So yeah, so that's, so in the end, it's like, just take my rambling with a grain of salt, like I said, this is just me thinking out. Essentially, this is mostly what these vlogs are about. It's just me thinking out loud, about my campaign, the work that I'm doing, how it might relate to other people. And if you can get something out of it, go right ahead. If it doesn't mean anything to you, then that's okay too. It's this really, it's like, when I say shit, I'm really talking about myself, But so Nita, the box. The box. So you want to take a peek in it? Well,
yeah, we could do that.
Right? You want to do that?
I've got a couple.
Right.
Ouch. All right. Ow! I just busted my titties.
Oh no! Don't do that.
It's heavy. It's bigger than usual. Where's my knife?
Yeah, there's I put like a bunch of books in there. So let's see. So yeah, so I sent Nita a care package that she just got in.
Package.
Yeah. What really annoys me though.
You like tape, ladies?
Happened? Well, yeah, I wanted to make sure it didn't pop open. The one thing that irritates me though is how I'm paying UPS rates for them to deliver it by mail anyway.
Yeah, they do. It's a pain in the ass.
I mean, the only good thing about it is that I know that your hub, your mail hub, that up until it gets to you, they're using UPS hubs, which technically would be a little bit faster. Because you said that sometimes, like, once they get to a certain hub near you, like the package will sit there for like days,
and it'll even say it's delivered.
Oh, great!
Yeah, it'll say it's delivered for 3 or 4 days, and then it'll be like,
Uh-huh.
Good night.
Oh wow! Okay, so it's packed up really well.
Yes.
I surprise myself sometimes.
It's nice and tight.
Yeah.
Just like I like it. Just like I like it. Oh. Somebody's gonna be happy.
Yeah, so whoever wants it can get it.
Nice.
What it is that I had bought. I originally bought the Masters of Anatomy weapons poses. Very, very nice book. I use it all the time. And they had come up with a recent campaign that had collected all their books in one thick book. So I bought it, which meant that this book was a duplicate. Yeah. So Nita gets a preview. She gets a preview of Eagle Raven issue volume 2. Right?
Suck on that, bitches.
And there's some other things in there too that's really
buddy.
Interesting.
Yeah, buddy.
Right, but look, the other thing that That is a portfolio. What's the date on that portfolio?
Jeez, 91.
1991. It predates my first published Tall Tales story.
Holy shit.
It's a portfolio that I did. It's the very first portfolio that I did. Once I figured out you could print on envelopes back in the day. You know, oh, that's right. Yes, and then
the
like all
entire Tears of the Mother run.
Yeah, the entire run of that. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I was trying to remember what else I had put in that thing. The portfolio that I think is clean. I think that might be a clean portfolio. I don't
There's
remember.
nipples on the cover.
Well, that's true too. Yeah. You know, I'm not sure. I don't remember what I did in that portfolio. You know. But yeah, but I ended up getting like a stack of them back from somebody who bought them originally to just, you know, just to sell them, and then it's like I guess they're cleaning out their house.
They are clean.
They're clean. They're all clean.
Yeah.
What I have to open. I have to like. Wow, I haven't seen that in a while. I haven't seen those in a while. Look at that. I don't think I even have the originals. I don't think I even have the originals anymore. You know.
Shit.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I can't believe I did so much of that hatching. You know.
Nice.
And there's the original Tall Tales ad. Look at that.
Ha ha.
You know, that's really funny.
Oh
that's
my
really
God.
funny.
That's fucking greatness.
Yeah.
That's fucking greatness.
Oh, my displacer beast. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look at that. That's like, wow, that really takes me back.
Dude.
That really takes me back. Jesus Christ. But yeah, but I have like a stack of them. So on the next, so on the House of Bob campaign, if you want to pick up some classic artwork from me, I will have like well, I think I have 6. I might have 6 of them from the campaign, which is
holy crap. That was cool.
Oh, that took me back. That took me back.
That was pretty cool.
Right, yeah.
You never cease to amaze me, Lage.
Well, you know, I try. Actually, I just ended up finding shit by accident. And then, oh yeah, that's right. You haven't looked through. This is gonna be the first time you're seeing the portfolio.
You guys aren't seeing this one.
Yeah, no. Yeah, this one. So it's like you can give me like a quick review as to whether you think it'll work on as a sketchbook, as it, you know.
Oh, and absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Because I really like the format. I really do. You know, it's nice. Like I don't know. It just feels like just nice. You know, like
right.
on a bookshelf instead of being put in a plastic bag.
Right.
You know, so it's like yeah, so I'm supposed to be getting the other proof today, so you know, so you'll be the first to know when I get it. So what are you thinking so far?
The only thing I'm thinking is there any way we can get a little more bleed? Like, this is just titties.
Oh, okay. No, right. Like, yeah, that one I fixed that.
More in the, you did? Okay,
yeah, I did fix that. I brought, because originally it wasn't supposed to be perfect bound. Right. It was supposed to be just like a comic book.
For the comic book.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So, but once I saw the perfect bound, I already adjusted everything. The new proof is going to reflect the new layout.
Okay.
So,
but that's it. Like,
yeah, that was pretty much the main problem. Like, it tucked a little too much into the spine,
especially because you don't want to crack that fucking spine, and you almost have to.
Right.
You don't, but it's so fucking close.
Right.
It would just be better to get that little more, just a hair more bleed.
Yeah, that's also something too that everybody, if you're making trades for the first time, for trade paperbacks, please keep in mind how your artwork disappears into the gutter,
Right.
Into the spine. How it disappears into the spine, because it's like, yeah, we're so used to like being able to open a comic flat that we forget that as a trade paperback, you're going to lose like a half inch. Right, you're going to lose like a half inch on the spine,
right?
And especially if you have lettering that goes really close to the edge, you're going to lose that in your spine. So, keep that in mind when you're putting together your trade paperbacks. I'm always paranoid about that now. But
your books accordingly.
Yes. So format your books accordingly. Yes.
Whatever.
So I think that's pretty much it for me. What about you, Nita?
I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good. I'm tickled.
Oh yeah, the portfolio really did that.
Yeah.
I thought it was, it's like some days gone by.
Oh my god.
Even I'm surprised the amount of cross hatching I did. And mind you, that was like with a really, really tiny pen too. And it's like, Jesus Christ, what was I thinking? Oh yeah, Todd McFarlane. I blame him for that. I blame him for that cross hatching. So you good? You have any announcements or anything? Oh, that's good.
No, I let the YouTubes make the announcements now. I've got everything set to go out and whatever, and automated in the fucking groups. Right. There's shows every day. Tune in, like, share, subscribe, or don't. It doesn't matter. It's cool. I mean, I get it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And so if you would like to learn more about me and my artwork and my upcoming campaigns and my campaigns running now, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook. If you are interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress updates and any live updates that may pop up, previews, the whole thing, it's all on Facebook. And remember that you can also catch me here on YouTube for around almost 600 videos in my archive of my live streams, videos of just speed paints and just me drawing and the whole thing in the archive. If you missed any of the vlogs, it's there as well. And you can also join me for my semi-weekly art live streams Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's 2 hours of me just drawing and talking with the chat and just having a good time. It's kind of like being at a convention without being worried about blocking the table. So I missed the last 2 weeks. This coming Wednesday, I'll try to make an effort. I'll make the effort to do a live stream for Wednesday. But yeah, it's always on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock Eastern. And remember, you can also read Eager Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, for free, uploading every day, Monday through Friday. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales. That's TAILSonline.com. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, you can catch up on the latest story arc, Tears of the Mother, which is also currently uploading Monday through Friday. So thank you so much for joining us on this very sultry Friday. Hopefully, it's like, look, I know every summer it's hot. I know. So it's like, yeah, I complain about it. I complain about the summer being hot the same way everybody complains about their Kickstarters not doing what it's supposed to. So yes, I know. But it's still hot, though. So thank you so much for joining us. And in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work. Because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. So thank you so much again, and we'll see you next time.
I got one. When I first heard about Dave being trapped in a maze, I was like, well, at least he's not sucking a big veiny dick for Kickstarter money.
That's not how